Namaste mums to be, welcome to the YogaCandi YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be showing you 3 of my favourite restorative poses for tiredness, fatigue, or if you're feeling a little queasy, which I know we get in our first trimester and sometimes in the third, and some people are unlucky enough just to have it the whole way through. So I hope this helps some of you and I hope that you find it relaxing. Try to keep your awareness on your breath throughout today's class and on your baby within. Maybe some little movements you may be feeling if you're further along, and just allow your thoughts to go. Try not to pay them any attention. To tell you guys a little bit about me, I am 6 months pregnant currently, and with my first, and I'd absolutely love to know how far along you are, how you're feeling, and if anybody has any requests, then please do let me know in the comments below. Also let me know how this class made you feel. I would love to find out. They might be my 3 favourite poses, but they may not be yours. And just a disclaimer, because you're pregnant, I do recommend seeking advice from a doctor first, especially if you have any hip issues, anything like that, that is a little bit beyond just general aches and pains, because some poses can actually aggravate them. So make sure you get advice first. In today's class, I recommend you have a few props, a couple of yoga blocks, 2 pillows or cushions off of your sofa, and then a nice big thick pillow. So whether that be the one of the cushions off the back of the sofa or your pillow off of your bed. If you don't have yoga blocks, then I recommend just grabbing an extra 2 pillows. So you need quite a lot of pillows basically, just so that we can really make this a proper relaxing class. So to begin, let's start off in a nice comfortable seat, and if like me breath is becoming a little bit more of a chore, you might find yourself gulping for air. That's okay, gulp whenever you need to. If you can, try to keep your breath long and deep through the nostrils, but of course this isn't always possible, so just breathe as you will and as you can. We're going to start off with 5 deep belly breaths to begin. So just to explain what to do before we close our eyes, is we're going to take our hands to our bellies, just so we can connect with baby and connect with what's going on. On every inhale, we're going to expand our bellies like a balloon. Now I know you probably already feel like a balloon, but we can expand it a little more, just on every inhale. And you're going to try to do that inhale for up to about 4 seconds. And then on your exhale, try to exhale for 4 seconds to 6 seconds, if possible. Of course, this is totally up to you and how your lungs are feeling today. So just do your best. So on the exhale, you're going to squeeze your belly button back towards your spine, hugging baby. Imagine you're hugging your baby. And at the same time, you're going to lift up through the pelvic floor. If you've never done pelvic floor exercises, this will be tough to understand, but it's almost like you're trying to hold your wee mid-flow. So that's the best way to explain it. So on the exhale, you're squeezing the belly button in and lifting up through the pelvic floor. On the inhale, you're expanding like a balloon. Okay, so we're going to begin together. Sit up nice and tall, take a comfortable seat, elevate your hips if needed, totally up to you. Just take your hands to your belly, start off with some nice natural breaths, keep your eyes closed. Don't worry about starting the breath just yet, we're just tuning into the body, getting ready for the class today. Once you're comfortable and settled, we're going to begin our 5 deep belly breaths together, lifting up through that pelvic floor on the exhale. Inhale, expand the belly. Exhale, squeeze, hug your baby, lift up through the pelvic floor. Take 4 in your own time. Take one more for good measure. And release. Keep your eyes closed, just breathe naturally before we start our first pose of the day. Bat your eyes open and we're going to begin. So our first pose of the day is going to be butterfly pose. I'm going to show you from the front as well as from the side. We're going to have our knees nice and open. You can have your feet as close towards your groin as you like, or you can have them quite far away, totally up to the comfort of your body. Now there's a few variations. We're going to be in this pose for a little while, so make sure that you just find some real comfort and ease within the pose. Depending on your flexibility, you may want a couple of cushions or blocks underneath the knees. And you may just be here, you may just be sat up nice and tall, perhaps holding onto the toes, maybe with your arms behind you, maybe with your spine against a wall. And this is where you'll be if this is all you can cope with today. And that's fine, you can just stay here, seated nice and tall, with that space for your belly between the thighs. Now, if you are a bit more flexible and you don't need these blocks, you can just allow your knees to fall down to the ground, giving into gravity, and then your blocks can come in handy to place in front of you. And start off just by slightly leaning forward. Now from here, as you give into gravity and as your hips start to open for you, you may come down to the forearms and you may just rest your forehead onto your block. But just go as far as feels good for your body, because we are going to be here for a while, and you can always make that prop a little higher for your forehead as well. So those are our variations. Feel free to get nice and comfortable within your pose. Take your time. I'm going to go side on just so you guys can see it from the side as well. So take whatever you need to do to get comfortable. And today's class isn't too regimented. You don't have to worry about being completely still. If you need to move at any point, then feel free to move. Just make sure you're listening to your breath and you're doing what feels right for your body. Now you can keep your breath totally natural if that feels better for you, or you can keep your breath nice and deep and long in and out of the nostrils or through the mouth if needed. So just make your way there, and once you're in your pose, close your eyes and we're going to be totally silent, just enjoying the breath, maybe enjoying some movements that baby's giving you. You can always start off with a little sway from the hips. You can move from side to side if that feels good. Anything that feels right for you, just do that. Remember to let your thoughts go. If anything is feeling a little achy, feel free to come up and just create some movement within the spine. Keeping the eyes closed, listening to the body, maybe just finding a little dance with the spine. You can even find a little roll from side to side. Make this practice yours. Listen to your body. Move in any way that feels right. Try to keep your spine nice and long. Shoulders away from the ears. You can even incorporate your belly breaths if you would like. You can take some neck rolls, just rolling from shoulder to shoulder if you're in a nice seated position. Take a couple more deep breaths here, wherever you are. And then bat your eyes open. You can always remove your props nice and slowly out of the way. Stay in your butterfly. We're just going to move from side to side, pushing one knee open just a little bit, maybe twisting towards that side. And then push the other knee open, twisting, facing that direction. And then release. We're going to change positions now. Just guide your knees up together, extend your legs. Lie back onto your hands and just slap your legs against the ground, just to release what we've just done before the next pose. Maybe point and flex the toes. And let's make our way into our next position. So our next pose is going to be hero pose, but we're going to be using props because when we're pregnant it doesn't feel so good to lie on our backs. So this is going to be props, and we're going to be nice and elevated so that we can enjoy this pose. So what we want to do, if you have blocks, create a little T shape with your blocks and then place a cushion on top of your blocks. Just one little cushion, and then we're going to use a big pillow, one off the bed or one off the sofa. And you're going to lay it lengthways, which is where your spine's going to be, down those props. If you don't have blocks, grab some cushions and just create this sort of triangular shape that you're going to lie back onto, just to make sure that your heart is higher than your hips. And then from here, we're going to make sure that our knees are together and our feet are wider than our hips, maybe as wide as the mat, just so that you can sit back between the feet. So find some comfort. If this is not accessible to your body, I recommend elevating the hips up onto a cushion. So you can sit your bum onto a cushion, and if that's still not accessible, then just extend your legs out long in front of you, and that's absolutely fine. Okay. So if you can, get into your hero pose, and this is comfortable. We want our bum to be against the pillow, and then we're in the right position. And then we're going to start to come on down. Come down very slowly. Suck your belly button towards your spine. Come down very, very slowly. And then find some comfort here. Just wiggle around until you're comfortable as possible. This is a lovely internal rotation of the hips, just to counteract what we just did in butterfly pose. So from here, you can keep your hands on your feet. You can bring them to your baby and just connect with your baby. Maybe feeling any little movements that they may be doing for you. Or if you want to take it into more of a physical sensation, you can open your arms out into a T shape or into a cactus shape. And this is a beautiful stretch, just allowing them to drop down towards the ground, giving into gravity. This is a beautiful stretch across the chest. Really good if you've been breastfeeding, maybe you've got more than one child. But also fantastic if this is your first pregnancy and you're finding that you're waking up a little stiff from the weird ways that we're having to lie nowadays, now that we've got a belly in the way. So this can be really restorative, really healing, beautiful stretch. So find what feels good here. And the wonderful thing about this pose is not only are we stretching out a few bits of the body, but it's a beautiful opening for the rib cage so that we can breathe a little easier. And you may find you're able to take nice deeper breaths in this pose now that your rib cage is lifted a little, taking some pressure off of them. Once again, the same as the last pose. If you need to find some movement, if you want to move the legs and extend them out long, feel free to do that at any point. Feel free to move the arms in any way you want. Just make sure this is comfortable for you and for your baby. And keep your breath as you wish, either nice and deep or nice and natural, allowing all thoughts to pass. You're more than welcome to incorporate some pelvic floor exercises here. This is a great way to feel that sensation. On every exhale, you can lift up through the pelvic floor, and on your inhale, just release. So there's many variations and options for you. Take one more deep breath. Keep your eyes closed. And if your hands aren't already on your belly, take your hands to your belly. And let's just take a little bit of time to connect with our babies before we change position. Maybe taking a little circular movement on the belly with both hands, just gently stroking in a clockwise position. Connecting with your body as well, and just accepting all the changes that are about to happen. You may be a little anxious about the possibility of stretch marks. You may be anxious about any sort of damage that may happen to your pelvic floor. Or perhaps you're a little worried about how you're going to cope with time once baby arrives. Whatever your worries are, just list them in your mind right now. And then gently watch them disappear. Watch each word dissolve, each worry dissolve. And then once they've all dissolved within your mind, become still on your belly, just holding either side. Maybe you feel a little flutter of movement within. Maybe you feel a little kick. Whatever it may be, maybe you feel nothing just yet. But take this moment to consciously think of just how incredible you are, how incredible your body is, and how incredible your baby is. What a miracle it is that you are creating life. And that this little thing is going to be something you're going to love for the rest of your life. An unconditional love that perhaps none of us have quite experienced just yet. Think of those positive things. And then make some little circles around the belly once again. Finding acceptance with what might change, what might happen. But what might not happen as well. We're all different. But whatever it may be, just know that all of it is worth it. This baby, this life within you, is worth every little stretch mark, every little bit of recovery that you may have to go through. And just know that you are incredible. Take note of that. Take one more deep breath. Picture your little baby within, how it's folded in its fetal position. And then slowly bat your eyes open. From here we're going to very mindfully get up, mummies, so just listen to me before you try to sit up. Place your forearms or your hands onto the ground. Suck your belly button back towards your spine, hugging your baby. Lift up through your pelvic floor and very gently roll from one side, lifting up onto that arm and then onto the other arm. So you're coming up very, very slowly, very mindfully, especially when you've got a bigger belly. We don't want to create that dome shape that can sometimes happen. I'm sure you might have seen it already, kind of a coning happening to the belly when you come up from a lying down position. That can create diastasis recti, which is a condition that's very common and it can happen anyway, but of course we want to try and avoid it, which is a separation of the abs. One day I'll do a video on that as well. So let's just remove our props out the way. And we're going to come into our very last resting pose today. So this is going to be a fantastic pose for mums who maybe are suffering with a little bit of pelvic pain. It's also very restorative and very relaxing. It's also great for mums who maybe have got varicose veins or want to try to prevent them. Maybe you're prone to something like that, maybe it's in the family. So this is one you can just return to every day. In fact, just pop your props aside, and what we're going to start off with is come to your side, come on down onto the side body, and then roll onto the spine nice and gently. And from here we're going to take a cushion or two, depending on how high you want to elevate your hips. So lying on the back is not very comfortable in the later stages of our pregnancy. So we're going to be lifting up through the hips. Take your feet quite close to your bum and lift up as if you're coming into bridge pose, creating some space underneath your bum. Place a cushion down. Maybe you can lift a little higher. Come up onto tiptoes if needed and place another cushion below the bum and then lay down. So this is one way of lying on your back without there being too much pain. Take some of the relief and the pressure off the vena cava nerve. Just take a moment here, once your hips are elevated, to get comfortable. Now this is great as it is, but for extra restorativeness, we're going to elevate our legs. So we're going to lift both legs up into the sky. You can keep your hands underneath your belly or on your belly. Just take them alongside the body, wherever you want them to be. So we're going to lift our legs up. You can play around with pointing and flexing the toes. And if you want this to be even more relaxing, you can even take your legs against a wall and just relax them against a wall so that you don't have to keep them elevated. This is really wonderful for any kind of bladder pain as well, which I've been suffering with. I know sometimes baby is playing football with it. I'm sure a lot of mums have experienced this. So this is a great way to relieve some pressure in the bladder. Wonderful to get the blood flow coming down the opposite way as well if you're suffering from varicose veins. Also just a very relaxing pose. So once you've found a comfortable position, whether it be against a wall or not, keep those legs up nice and high. Place your hands wherever you want them to be. And just relax. Totally giving in to gravity. Feeling a release in the lower spine and in the pelvis. You may notice your baby starting to bounce around in your belly. If you're further along, you may feel that. Bring all your attention to your baby, to your breath. We're going to be here for a little moment, so just enjoy. Breathe as you will. Natural breath or nice and deep. Feel free to move your feet in any way that feels comfortable. You can even just stretch your legs, bring them a little closer towards you, a little further back. Do whatever feels good. Take 10 more deep breaths, mummies, and then we're going to end our class today. You're more than welcome to stay in this pose as long as you like. But together we'll enjoy 10 more deep breaths. Come out of our pose and just gently bend your legs and take your feet down to the ground. If you have a wall in front of you, just very slowly move to the side body and come up off of your cushions nice and gently. Once your feet are on the ground, maybe find a little wiggle with the hips, maybe a little roll in one direction. Make some circles in one direction and then in the other before we attempt to come off of our pillows. There's two ways off. You can either roll over to the side nice and gently and come up, or we can lift the hips back into our bridge pose and slowly release the pillows. Slowly bringing your hips back down to the ground. Maybe just for a second, open the knees wider than your belly, hug them up to the chest, up to the armpit, should I say. And then let's roll over to the side. Push ourselves up. Now you're more than welcome to stay in that pose as long as you like. You can take a side shavasana if you would like to, just lie on the side body with a pillow between your legs. Or you can join me in a nice comfortable seat where we're going to enjoy 5 more deep belly breaths before we end our class. So wherever you are, you're welcome to join me or just continue relaxing. Our 5 deep belly breaths. Inhale, expand the belly. Exhale, hug baby back towards the spine. Lift up through the pelvic floor. Take one more. And you can open your eyes. I really hope you've all enjoyed this class today. Remember to just continue relaxing if you would like to. Otherwise, we're going to end the class with that today. Please do let me know in the comments how you got on and how this has made your body feel. Perhaps you feel a little bit looser. Maybe you feel a little bit more restored, which is what I'm hoping. Hoping for the best. So mummies, just so you know, I actually am creating a course, a series that is purchasable. It hasn't been created just yet, and you may have had your babies by the time it's released. But for those of you that are in the beginnings of your pregnancy, keep your eyes peeled because there will be links in all the descriptions of the prenatal flows that are on the YouTube, and you'll be able to download and get yourself a course if that's what you would like. Something that's obviously going to target a little bit of everything for the pregnant mums out there. So until then, I hope you've all enjoyed practicing with me. Feel free to find me on Instagram and Facebook, where we can connect on a deeper level. Email me at any time if you have any questions or anything like that, or if you have any requests. Always feel free to speak to me. I'm a real person and I love to speak to other mums, and of course this is my first pregnancy, so I'm going to have many questions myself. So until next time, everybody, have a wonderful day. Try to relax, enjoy a nice warm bath, put some candles, and make this time about you as well. Until next time, namaste.